Hi friends, welcome to Sabbath School Daily, where we've been studying this lesson right here, 3 Cosmic Messages. This week we've been studying from lesson number 3 that has the title, The Everlasting Gospel, and today we're going to be diving into Thursday's lesson, which is called A Mission Movement. So at the core of today's lesson is the understanding that the first Adventists, right, at the very beginning of the Adventist movement, you found people that had an emphasis in studying biblical prophecy. And while they were studying, texts such as Revelation chapter 10 through 14, Daniel chapter 8, 9, and 10, they came to the conclusion that there is a tailor-made, a specific message to be preached to the entire world in this end time moment that we're all living in. This comes through several texts that are spread throughout the Bible, especially in the New Testament. Texts, for example, such as Acts chapter 1, verse 8, that says, "But you shall receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you shall be witnesses to me in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and to the end of the earth." Another text that carries the same message is Matthew chapter 24, verse 14, that says, Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he says that this gospel, this message will be preached to the entire world, and then the end will come. You'll find texts, for example, such as our memory verse, coming from Revelation chapter 14, verse 6, that says, "Then I saw another angel flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach to those who dwell on earth, to every nation, tribe, tongue, and people." So these are just a few examples of texts that speak about an end-time message that will be preached everywhere to everyone as a sign of the end. And so as they were studying these texts, and as they were also studying the prophetic texts, right? Revelation chapter 14, Revelation chapter 10, Daniel chapter 8 and chapter 9, they were compelled to go out into the world preaching this message, this gospel, to focus on the 3 angels' messages of Revelation chapter 14. We know that the first Adventist missionary was sent out by the church in 1874. His name was John Andrews. This was an exceptional man. He was extremely talented. He could speak 7 languages. He could recite the entire New Testament by memory, right? And this brilliant man was sent out into a field where there were virtually no Adventists, right? No one that understood this end time message. And since then, about 180 years later, here we are today with missionaries, with preachers, with people who feel compelled to go out into the world to preach this end time message. In fact, we are in 210 of the over 230 recognized countries by the UN. So what that means is that at the very core of the Adventist message is this understanding that this isn't something that should be and that can be relegated only to us. It's not an internal message. Actually, I've always believed that a true gauge, a true filter for you to determine if someone is a true disciple of Jesus is, are they bringing people the gospel of Jesus? Are they taking that to the world? Because if they're not, if they're only doing in preaching, there's something wrong with that message, right? Seventh-day Adventists, all of us are born in the kingdom of heaven as evangelists, right? As people who want to take this message to the entire world. Friends, we have a message to take. We have people to reach. The Holy Spirit is working. God is working. The field is overflowing and abundant with people. Friends, I got to tell you, every day here at the local church where I work, the Granite Bay Hilltop Church, we have people reaching out, wanting Bible studies, wanting to learn more about Jesus, wanting to be baptized, that want to not only change their own lives, but then also become instruments in God's hands to reach others. I would say that the same gauge, the same filter that you can apply to other people, it can also be applied to your own life. Are you bringing people to Jesus? Are you taking Jesus to people? Are you helping them understand that we live in a critical period of Earth's history, a moment where the line is being drawn, the die is being cast, and we can see 2 opposing sides emerging on the world, the history scene of action, right? At the very end, we know that everything will come down to 2 sides. On one side, the true Godhead, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. And on the other side, the counterfeit, the dragon, the sea beast, and the earth beast. And everything coming down under the central subject of worship. Who do you worship? 8 times between Revelation chapter 13 and 14 do you find that word that word being repeated over and over again. Worship, worship. And so the calling right now is for us to get up and do something. Get up, feel compelled to reach people, to tell people, be that being local missionaries in your own local neighborhood, in your home, in your family, with your friends, at the gym, anywhere, or be that overseas. We know that there are quote unquote professional ministers that are or missionaries that are supported by the church to go, but there are also lay people that find it in themselves the desire to go and preach this end time message. I hope that as you studied today's lesson, you really felt this desire, this compelling feeling to be a witness, to be a missionary for God. We know that the time is short, the field is great, and unfortunately, the laborers are few. So feel compelled, hear the voice of the Holy Spirit to become a laborer and go out into the field. I'm sure that God will use you. He will equip you and he will bring people to you so that you can share him with them. I hope that today's lesson was encouraging for you. It surely was for me. Don't forget to study your lesson, fill out the lines, the questions, look up the text, the verses. I'm sure that will help cement the information in your mind. And don't forget to share, to like, to subscribe to our videos so that we can reach more people. Use this as a tool. Use this in a way so that you can study your lesson, so that you can share a short quote of the lesson with your friends. I'm sure that will be a blessing to them. And I hope to see you again here tomorrow for another study of Sabbath School Daily.